22, Dulwich. And Ziegler, is he there? Dulwich College, the dynasty continues. Blake Edwards, with a run, just to see it! What's going? Glasgow with a try! 5.5 minutes to play! The Dulwich Cup could be headed to the Midlands, and the Dulwich dynasty could be dethroned. You're the champion.
Warwick, centre of the field. They're going to try and create, they get through the gap again, and it's going to be Nick David to score. Warwick School are victorious.
Welcome back to Twickenham on this, the biggest day in schoolboy rugby. It's the RFU Schools Finals with the under-15 Vars down, and it's the under-15 Cup Final up next. Whitgift School against Manchester Grammar School. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for both teams, starting with Whitgift. Lucas Bibb, Piero Noah and Pierre Loic Peninich are at 1, 2 and 3. Malachi Abaro is 24, starting in the second row, and Jack Sharp is next to him in the engine room. Amari Malcolm, Rhys Norman and Angus Sheehan are at 6, 7 and 8. Jake Murray, Owen Finn are at 9 and 10. Fowler Adedeji offers pace on the left wing. Ed Volley and Connor Slevin in the centres. Theo Sage on the right, and Gon de Klerk is at 15. Adrian Norris, should I say, is Whitgift's head coach. Manchester Grammar School got here via a fantastic 22-21 defeat of Warwick in the semi-final. And Sam Rushton, Alex Campbell and Fraser Hartley are in the front row. Joseph Whittle and Noah Ellis at 4 and 5. George Arnold at 6. Jack Whiteley at 7 and Seb Murphy at 8. Tom Archer and Ben Simpson are the halfbacks at 9 and 10. Jordan Aluadere on the left wing. Archie Jones and Alfie Meir make up the centres. Ollie Johnson on the right-hand side. Hayden Johnson at 15. And Ryan Jennings is the head coach of Manchester Grammar. The benches, Whitgift with 16, Nathaniel Adegoke. Ollie Matthews is 17, Seb Driscoll 18, Tristan Phelan Nett 19, Ben Clark 20, Freddie Green 21, and Jack Hawkins 22. For Manchester Grammar, it's Miles Monaghan, Oliver Hogarth, Nick Grimshaw, Ben Montague, Will Torrevell, Will Richardson and Isaac Ogunyemi making up 16-22 here at Twickenham in the under-15 Cup Final. Now, two teams with very different histories in this competition here. Sam Howard, Whitgift, of course, they've cruised through, apart from against Hurst-Pierpoint in the last 16 when it was 27-24. But Manchester Grammar School, it's their best performance in the history of the school. They're here in a cup final. They've added some pretty incredible scalps in Sedbergh and Warwick, and they'll be arriving here knowing they're in for another battle, but with very high expectations of the day.
Yeah, two big rugby schools here, two very good teams. As you say, both schools have knocked out some big schools on the way. As you say, Warwick and Sedbergh, two of the best schools over the last 5-6 years in the country. Whitgift have been, Trinity are very strong, Hampton are one of the best schools around in the southeast. So I think we're in for an absolute belter of a game with some excellent players littered across the pitch.
Well, if you've just joined us, you missed a fantastic under-15 Vars final. Beach and Cliff taking home the first piece of silverware of the day against Kenilworth School. It was 36-14, but definitely worth checking that one out on the replay because it was a much closer game than the scoreline suggested. And that was a great way to start the day. For those that missed it, they really should check it out. There was some beautiful rugby played, Sam.
No, do. If there's a highlights package, then get and watch it, because some of the tries from both teams are absolutely outstanding. And if that's the standard for the day, then we're in for a treat. And that, actually, for the last 3 years or 4 years we've been doing this, that first game of the day has always been an absolute cracker, as has this one. Okay, sometimes the under-18s one, I don't know whether it's because they're older and they haven't got as much, they've got more fear, but these under-15 games are absolutely superb. Maybe it's the innocence, they're out there to play rugby. Maybe we talked about they can't kick it as far, so they run it a lot more. The skill level's high, so they don't give the ball away. It's real good sort of pure rugby to watch. And as I said, these two schools and the schools that they've knocked out is testament that they must be very good teams. I think we're in for an absolute belter here. I haven't seen either team play, but I'm speaking to a few people on the circuit. Both have said that they're very good, very strong teams.
That is the voice of Sam Howard, and that is the trophy that they're competing for. Sam, of course, winning 3 trophies here back-to-back with Dulwich College. Plenty of rugby union coming up on Free Sports. Of course, we're bringing you all the finals today. And if you haven't had enough after that, then make sure you tune into the Bucks Super Rugby final round title decider, Leeds Beckett versus Northumbria. If you've not watched any Bucks rugby this year, it is probably the best league I've laid my eyes on this season. So competitive. Then we'll be following that championship right up until the final here at Twickenham on the 11th of April. Of course, the draw has not been made for the knockouts, but we'll be bringing you 3 live matches in the build-up to that Twickenham final on the 11th of April. Of course, the Rosslyn Park National School Sevens kicks off next week and will run Monday to Friday, and we will be bringing you highlights of the world's biggest sevens competition. But right now, it is all about Twickenham, it's all about the RFU Schools Finals, and it's all about the Under-15s Cup, Whitgift versus Manchester Grammar. Well, above their dressing room at Allianz Park before the semi-final, Manchester Grammar playing against the 2013 and 14 champions Warwick. They had a huge poster reading "Never Give In." They've come up against the likes of Warwick, Woodhouse Grove, Sedbergh, Kings Macclesfield, Stockport Grammar School, St Ambrose College, and they've been in battles against all of them. Scorelines like 10-3, 12-3, 17-12, 17-13, 19-12, 21-22, and if they can drag Whitgift into a dogfight here, they'll know that they can come out on the winning side.
Really important, I find. Like, 3 years we won it, we won the 3 semi-finals by 3 points or less. The year we lost it, we cruised our semi-final, and I think that we take nothing against Bromsgrove. They were the better side on the day, but I felt that we were a little bit undercooked. And as you said, this Manchester school, if they're still in the game with 10 minutes to go, they're going to know that they've been in these situations, that they can come through it. What we don't see here is the Whitgift school results in their normal season, where they play on a very tough circuit, and I dare say there's some results in there where they've probably had close games and come through it as well, because they play on a very tough circuit. So I would love to see this game go up to the wire and be close within 5 minutes, because it would be great for all the neutral spectators out there. But looking at the size of some of the kids out there, it's hard to believe that they're under 15s. I think that the Opara is only wearing number 24 because the 4 shirt didn't fit him because he's so big.
And we are underway, half an hour each way. Manchester Grammar in the sky blue receive the kickoff, and that is a confident first carry from the second rower, Noah Ellis. Important for both sides that they settle into this one. Whitgift in the white jerseys with the navy sleeves, attacking the try line to the left of your screen in this first half. A little chip into space, and that's the first touch finder. Manchester Grammar, their captain's Ben Simpson, he's the outside half, and he plays on the edge. There'll be a few kicks in this match where you think, oh, why has he done that? But when it works, it really works, and he's the heartbeat of this Manchester Grammar side.
I think that's quite a clever little chip. Look, he's not the biggest of kids, so he's not going to belt it far. But he has made it. He's found ground. He's made it bounce, and Whitgift have now got the ball in their own half.
Reece Norman, the target at the first of the uncontested lineouts. A little bit of space up the blind side for Jake Murray, but he's bundled to the deck by Manchester Grammar. This organised work by Whitgift in these opening exchanges. Piero Noah, he was man of the match in the semi-final. incredibly strong ball carrier, got a couple of tries as well. And I think one of the keys for Manchester Grammar will be able to, is whether or not they're able to stifle him. They managed to get the ball back, but it's bobbling and they're under pressure. Eventually finds its way out, but Whitgift circling there and just applying pressure deep in the Manchester Grammar 22.
Yeah, even in just the first 2 minutes, I think it's pretty clear the way Whitgift are going to play. They've got big, strong, powerful forwards there. They're going to carry, then they're going to release forwards out, playing off 10 at pace. And as you said, can Manchester withstand the power play of this Whitgift side?
Regards to the likes of Piero Noah, watch out for him. He's the big number 2. At under 15s level, where these lads are still developing their strength, it's just difficult to know where to tackle him. You tackle him up top, you get bounced off. You tackle him down below, he stands there and gets the offload away.
You've got to go low. You've got to go low, hang on, and then hopefully your mates come and help you as well. You go high on these guys, they're just going to bounce you off.
It's nice from Manchester Grammar though. Alex Campbell with the ball at the back takes them up over the halfway line. 20 metres they've made on this drive, up towards the 10-metre. Tom Archer waits at scrum half, but the forward pack doing very well there. There's Ben Simpson, finds Alfie Mir. Alfie Mir makes the offload as well. Manchester Grammar into the Whitgift half. Archer, Simpson. In between the 10-metre and the 22. Trying to find a little bit of space on the blind side into the 22, but that an excellent tackle on Fola Adedeji. Picked up off the toes by Simpson. A little bit static from Manchester Grammar, but still on the ball. That one bounces off Simpson, bounces forward. Referee playing advantage, but he'll go back for the knock-on.
That's a shame there. They've done really well. A great line-out drive from Manchester Grammar. We talked in the first game about the schools maybe not having the patience to just keep it going and get it set. They had a real good drive, gained about 20 metres, sucked a lot of the Whitgift players on, and then a lovely back move. Looks like they've got some pace out there in the Manchester backs. Kept the ball again. I was going to say, Simpson looks like he's pulling the strings brilliantly. He's tiny out there compared to the rest of the players, but he looks so composed on the ball, and probably a very, very rare handling mistake from him, because he looks like he's got the ball on a string. But a great position with a 50-yard blindside here for Whitgift to attack if they want to.
Jake Murray is the Whitgift scrum half in the cap. Tom Archer is opposite number. Well, if you can hear what sounds like drilling in the background, well, that'll be drilling. Twickenham, a little bit of a building site at the moment. Of course, a huge day here with England versus Ireland on Saturday. Sure, that'll all be out of the way for them. But 4 massive games here of schoolboy rugby. This is the second of them, the under-15 cup final, with the under-18 Vars and Cup to come a little bit later. With nearly 6 minutes into this one, Whitgift on the ball inside their own half. It's a good cover tackle. Seb Murphy, he's vice-captain of Manchester Grammar, stifling Rhys Norman. Manchester Grammar putting bodies on the line in defence, and at the moment at least pinning Whitgift into their own half. There's Malachi Opara. The crowd absolutely delighted when he gets his hands on the ball. Another one of those powerhouse ball carrying forwards as Whitgift look to create a little bit of space up the right-hand side, and well to get the offload away. Well, that one's broken loose. Piero Noah brought down and turned at first, but able to get the ball back. Jack Sharp for Whitgift, bang on the halfway line. Opara. Manchester Grammar, they're committing bodies here, but constantly, surely there are hands on that, but the referee has decided it's a Whitgift penalty, not a Manchester Grammar one. Well, Manchester Grammar are standing up well to the pressure from the ball carriers at the moment, but that's going to sap a lot of energy, isn't it?
Superb defence from Manchester. Whitgift, as we said, they're using their big ball carriers, they're just carrying hard, but Manchester are matching that. And again, the breakdown is such a contentious call.
They've missed touch there.
But they've got to come through the gate if they're going to compete for the ball.
Aluade. It's his first touch, gets away. And this a real opportunity for Whitgift to open the scoring. Cover tackle comes in and it goes out, but Jordan Aluade showing how dangerous he is there. Breaking the first tackle. And Manchester Grammar cannot afford to miss those.
Again, we talked about the kicking game and how these under-15s just can't get distance on it. You've kicked it straight down the throat of Aluade. And again, he's big, he's quick, he's powerful, and it's actually a very, very good cover that stopped him because he evaded the first three. It looked like he was in, but you don't want to give him the ball in open space.
Joseph Whittle, the target man. Rises high. Manchester Grammar controlling that again. A little bit of pressure on Ben Simpson, but can only make 10 metres or so. Manchester Grammar will be back under the cosh here inside their own 22.
Yeah, it's so difficult to get out of your own, sort of away from your try line at this age. I just think that from where they were, again, they're young, you don't know how much pressure. Passing it back to a kicker to then kick it, I don't know whether the scrum half should maybe, like, he's surely going to get the ball further than 5 metres, which is what they've gained there. Maybe they're going to have to look at their scrum half kicking, but now this big Whitgift pack are now going to come at this Manchester side here.
They march forward, Piero Noah at the back there with the ball in hand.
One's right, same more. 7 lost,
Manchester
7 blue, leave it, let it
done
go,
well
let
to
it
stop
go.
that for the time being at least. Jake Murray. Aluade scrambles forward once again. They're not particularly wide, Manchester Grammar, and they've gone to meet Malachi Apara. Queuing up on the left-hand side of Whitgift.
Lost now, blue. No hands, it's a rock, release 3. Good.
Hands on it again, but they're told to leave them. Piero Noah. Oliver Johnson was the one who got the hands on it, but they're just so powerful. Relentless stuff here from Whitgift, just a metre short. A step inside from the prop forward, and that's the opening score from Pierre-Louis Penanich. Well, Whitgift taking full advantage of a period of play inside the Manchester Grammar 22. It's taken them 10 minutes, but they've opened the scoring here, and they lead 5 points to 0.
Well, you know what's coming, but stopping it is not always easy, and I think Manchester are doing really well, but once Whitgift get close to the line with their ball carriers, they just keep coming. And actually, it's a good little bit of footwork there from the prop.
Yeah, very often over the past few weeks, semi-finals and finals in these RFU competitions, we're seeing more and more prop forwards taking responsibility, carrying the ball well, showing good feet, good pace.
Yeah, he had 3 players coming onto him, just a little step, and you're not stopping him from that distance. But yeah, this Whitgift side look ominously powerful. Manchester are getting their hands on the ball, but the refs just sort of calling ruck fairly early. I would have thought England would have liked that to have happened over the last few weeks, and which is not enabling them to slow or steal any of the Whitgift ball. This Whitgift ball, if they keep it, they're just going to keep coming. Nice step and a good finish there from the big forward there. He's taken that try nicely.
I think Manchester Grammar have had a lot of success in going to meet the ball carrier so far, but 3 men committed to Pierre-Louis Penanich then, so as soon as he stepped inside, it's a relatively straightforward finish after the Manchester Grammar defenders had overcommitted. But that's obviously a game plan from them. Once again, Ollie Johnson goes to meet Adedeji.
Oh, he's done brilliantly.
He's turned the ball over. Manchester Grammar with a rare venture into Whitgift territory. Ben Simpson can put some width on it here. Manages to get the ball away. Theo Sage manhandles the Manchester Grammar fullback.
14 right.
I think he's given the high tackle here. I think he rode up and eventually tackled him high.
Good response from Manchester Grammar, though. They'll be inside the 22.
Yeah, and if they can get their line-out drive going, that despite obviously they're well below the weight limit of the Whitgift are, but their line-out drive has looked well organised, which is what it's about, not just pure size. If they can get that going again here, then we could well be looking at a score. But that's a superb turnover. I'm not sure who ripped the ball from the winger, but once they've got the ball, they look dangerous with the ball in hand, Manchester.
Joseph Whittle the target once again. Manchester Grammar look to get organised. They've gone a little bit too early there. That's the patience you spoke about. Fraser Hartley, 6 metres short.
In regards to, take a step.
Manchester Grammar within 5 metres. They pick and go. Piero Noah making the tackle. They're queuing up on the right-hand side, Manchester Grammar. Now Simpson has it. Looks for the wraparound and gets it. Finds the pass as well, and it opens up a tiny bit. Surely that's a high tackle. Referee doesn't have his arm out. Certainly looked high from here. Seb Murphy goes, the vice-captain, in that brown scrum cap. 2 metres short now for Manchester Grammar. They're being held up by Malachi Apara. Man mounts him for an under-15. And now Archer goes. Simpson has it again. Nice step inside, but the cover defence from Whitgift is good. Gone to Clerk, the fullback. Coming up to 15 minutes gone. Fraser Hartley, once again, there are hands on that from Whitgift. But the penalty awarded by the referee. It's the try scorer, Pierre-Louis Penanech, who got hands on it then.
Really good attack from Manchester. But as you said about that line-out drive, what's Simpson going to do here? I think he's a bag of tricks. He can do anything. You don't want to take your eyes off him. Here we go.
But he's gone quickly. Pass out to the right-hand side. He's asked a lot of his winger there.
Oh, they've got to get him over the line to get the scrum.
Ollie Johnson brought down. Ben Simpson not hanging about for the line. Over the line, and a try for Manchester Grammar. Joseph Whittle, the second rower, gets in, gets low, and it's a long way down for him as well. He's done very well there, Joseph Whittle, and we are all square.
He does really well here. Whitgift have got a lot of numbers around the ball.
Very high body positions though.
Yeah, first movement gets it over the line. And again, no less than they deserve. When they've had the ball, they look dangerous in hand. That line-out drive, as you said, I was surprised that the number 8, I think it was the number 8, came off the back because the drive was going, it was going forward. If he'd stayed in, I think they'd have gone over. But again, Ben Simpson looks as if he was going to kick it to the corner. I never thought he was, because I think he's got magic in him, and he's taken the quick tap. Didn't quite come off, but fair play. The forwards looked after the ball, and it was a good score.
Hayden Johnson on kicking duty.
Wow.
It's a great line, but not quite enough distance. We had a great view of that, went straight down the barrel from our commentary position. 16 minutes gone here, and we're all square. Let's take a look at the finish once again.
Winger does really well actually to get to Floyd. It looked like he was going to be held up, so he did really well. Yeah, and that's a nice finish there. Okay, could have easily lost the ball, looked after it. Yeah, and I think a 5-all scoreline is a fair reflection of the game.
Whitgift 5, Manchester Grammar 5. Pierre-Louis Penanech opened the scoring. Joseph Whittle just equalising. Both conversions, of course, missed. Oh, Manchester Grammar running straight into the contact zone there. That's not something they want to be doing against this huge Whitgift pack. It's Whittle, the try scorer, making yards once again. Simpson, the inside pass this time. It's George Arnold, the back rower. Simpson just takes a step before putting Noah Ellis back into the contact zone. He's been lifted off his feet, but still manages to get forward.
Ball available.
Malachi Apara makes the tackle.
I think they've got some space out here if they use it.
Simpson just taking a step back, waiting another phase to get the ball, but now he puts boot to ball. But he's done that with the wingers not flat, so gone to Clerk. And a little bit more time, and now finds Adedeji, tiptoes up the wing, gets through 2 tackles, eventually he's brought down by the 3rd. It's Tom Archer, the scrum half, who wrestled him down eventually. Fola Adedeji, powerful ball carrier on that left wing.
I'm not sure there was a lot of tiptoeing. That was bulldozing. But yeah, I think it would have been nice of Manchester if they'd moved the ball. I think they took it into contact one time too many. I think if they'd moved the ball, they had some space.
I'll give him tiptoes here. I'll give that tiptoes.
Okay, you can have tiptoes. But we've already seen if you kick in the ball in space, he will hurt you with the ball.
Whittle. See, it's interesting, isn't it? Manchester Grammar showing a lot more patience from the line out in midfield than they are in attack. That white line fever does things to you.
Tackle release.
11 minutes of this first half remaining.
Counter up is good.
Manchester Grammar between their own 10-metre and 22.
No arms, number 3.
Pinballing off defenders, and the referee
Number 3,
spotting the no-arm tackle.
Time off.
I think he wants to have a word here with Lucas Bibb, the Whitgift 3.
No attempt to use the arms. The only thing that saved him is he didn't make any significant contact. If I have something like that again, I'm not going to have an option. Okay, be careful.
Just a warning for Bibb.
It's now just to make touch. He's almost got to kick this sideways from that place.
Defence on the line, sir.
Gets them just up towards the halfway line.
Use the line. White, use the line.
So I'd like to see the line-out drives working really well for Manchester, and then they hit it up a couple of times up the forwards. I'd like them to go wider a little bit earlier and stretch this Millfield defence, make this Millfield big pack move around the park. Sorry, Whitgift, I don't know where I've got that from. Apologies, all Whitgift supporters there.
Here's Hayden Johnson. Finds Oluwade, who shows how dangerous he can be before being bundled into touch. But that better from Manchester Grammar, and just as you said, there's space out wide. They just need to get the ball there.
Yeah, really good attacking play. Great speed from the winger here. And as you notice there, the Whitgift are playing with their fly half on the wing defensively, so they want to attack it there. But again, a superb cover tackle at the end then from the Whitgift fullback.
Piero Noah with the throw. Whitgift under a little bit of pressure in this game, not necessarily in the red zone, but Manchester Grammar showing that they're willing to front up despite being inferior in stature. But Whitgift this time showing their patience and their discipline in that build-up. Advantage coming here from that great forward work for Whitgift. They've made 30 metres on this drive, up towards the 10 now.
Blue penalty additional. Number 3 collapsing.
Well, it's a stroll in the park for the Whitgift number 9 at the moment. He's just following this forward pack round. Malachi Apara eventually finds the deck. Still advantage here. Adedeji brought down on the halfway line. Apara breaks the gain line again. It's numbers here for Whitgift, but it's a little bit narrow, so they take it infield instead. 8 minutes of this first half remaining. Piero Noah, Manchester go to meet him, but he barrels through. Oh, it's been picked off. Manchester Grammar don't quite have the pace to get the ball away, and it's gone forward, so it'll be advantage for the knock-on. Well, we've got a player down from either side out of your shot in the Manchester Grammar half. Breathless stuff here. And it's just broken up here. A frantic couple of minutes and Manchester Grammar win the penalty. Well, 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 we nearly had another breakaway try. We've already had one in the first match, and that would really have put the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, really good defence. This is the way Manchester have got to defend. You've got to get up. He did really well to take it. Knew that he never had the pace. Maybe if he'd put boot to ball, and then two of them would have been chasing. But at least he did the right thing. And you just hope that this young man hasn't hurt himself considerably.
It was Alfie Mir, the 13 for Manchester Grammar, who picked it off. They've missed touch with the penalty, though. Let off for Whitgift.
It's a big ask out there. It's right in the middle of the pitch. It's a massive pitch to actually ask them to get to touch. I think they'd be better off just running the ball there.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful backdoor offload there. Puts Piero Noah, well, I nearly said into space, but there was no space whatsoever. He creates it himself. Oh, it's been knocked on. That's a let-off for Manchester Grammar. There was a 4-on-2 on the left-hand side. It was a missed pass that the ball receiver wasn't quite expecting.
Again, just really good skills from the Whitgift front row. Your pronouncing of Penjaninic is a lot better than mine, but again, he's taken a couple, he's offloaded, he's put Noah through the gap. But again, Manchester do get them down, and now they're in a nice position. See if they can get their back line into space again.
Ben Simpson dummies and sends Hayden Johnson through what he was hoping would be a gap, but instead was the shoulder of Gonda Clerk. But they've won the penalty. Again, though, it's bang in the middle of the park.
Right in the middle.
And he's got a 35 or 40 metre kick just to find touch. Instead, he's gone crossfield, and that's into the breadbasket of Ollie Johnson.
I'm not sure if that's what he was intending, but the winger has made the most of a missed touch, which again, as we said, always chase the kicks.
I'll always give him the benefit of the doubt. Manchester Grammar have done well there to avoid the hands of Piero Noah, but Whitgift raising that defensive lever, and Noah Ellis holds on for too long. Whitgift have just upped their level in defence in these last couple of minutes, playing Manchester Grammar at their own game, lifting fast.
Much more noticeable in this game, both teams competing a lot more at the breakdown. Like I was thinking, like in my head, I was thinking, crikey, the ref's penalising it a lot, but I think they're both making it hard for the referee and making him make decisions, because they're sending 2 or 3 in to try and compete at every breakdown. So I think attacking-wise, both teams have actually got to send a few more support runners to the breakdown to look after it, and then they can look after the ball, especially Whitgift, because they don't. One of their players can carry on his own for a good few metres.
Connor Slevin finding touch there. Amazing that we're 26 minutes into a final, and such is the power in the Whitgift pack. I've not mentioned Owen Finn, who's the Whitgift 10. Amazing, really. Again, Jake Murray, the scrum half, a spectator here, strolling behind this Whitgift pack as they march forward.
Wow, that's ominous.
Piero Noah has the ball at the back. 15 metres they've made from this line out. Three players at the blind side, and now it is Noah back into the 22. Manchester Grammar make the tackle. Lucas Bibb this time. Ten metres short of taking the lead once again in this final of Whitgift. Manchester Grammar, they've turned that over. Well, they're being marched backwards, but there's certainly plenty of spirit in this Manchester Grammar team. And they've won the penalty.
Again, just as we talked about, the breakdown, Whitgift go down, and Manchester straight hands on that ball. But again, that line-out drive, like, we're pretty high up in the standing, and you can hear them shouting, 1-2, 1-2. They're getting that drive going, and again, I'm not sure if Noah needed to come off at the back. I know he's a powerful boy and he can break tackles, but that was just going. Maybe he should have just held on and just kept that ball going and sort of stayed at the back and followed his big pack.
Ben Simpson in the shot there. He's not had many opportunities in the last 15 minutes or so. Whitgift 5, Manchester Grammar 5 in the first half of this under-15 cup final. Whittle quickly off the top this time. Simpson. Head volley for Whitgift. Making the tackle in midfield. Simpson again. Needs quick hands here from Manchester Grammar. Oliver Dare tries to get away, throws the offload, it's gone forward, and this is an advantage to Whitgift. Just trying to force that pass too many. They're getting it wide, but then Whitgift are just ushering them out and dealing with it quite well, really.
Yeah, as you said, they've gone wide, which is the right thing to do, but if he's not got away, don't force that pass. Don't be afraid to just go down. He's got a quick back row, look after the ball, which is, in the previous game we saw Beeching do so well. Sort of just hold the ball, be happy, playing 6, 7, 5 phases, and let Ben Simpson, your captain, just orchestrate the play. But that's the way I think Manchester have got to look. They've got to look to attack wide, get the ball into the wide spaces and try and move this massive Whitgift pack around.
And it is massive.
It's huge. It's absolutely, for an under-15, it's the biggest team I've seen at this level.
The thing is as well, so much of this game has been an arm wrestle, and that's such a difficult arm wrestle for Manchester Grammar to win. Offload.
Onside, fella, onside.
Puts Whitgift on the front foot once again. Jack Sharp with the carry this time. And that's been knocked forward.
Again, brilliant and very brave defence there from Manchester. I think what you see from that last scrum, I think they've put in their six at fly half defensively to counter-attack the big carrying Whitgift. They're not only just the forwards, the big backs as well. You've seen, like, it's clever from Whitgift. They're putting Adedeji in the centre at times of first face ball. Manchester have countered that by putting one of their back row into midfield defensively. Smart play from either the coaches or the players on the pitch.
Scrum going backwards, but Seb Murphy picking and going for Manchester Grammar. Final few seconds of this first half. Wonder, will Manchester Grammar kick for touch? Yes, they will. They'll be happy to get some air in the lungs. And in this under-15 cup final, it's another interesting one. Manchester Grammar 5, Whitgift 5.
Yeah, great half. Sort of, we know all about Whitgift's power, but Manchester have defended manfully. If they move the ball, they're in the game. And as we said beforehand, throughout this tournament, they've come from behind, they stay in the game. And as long as they do that, we're in for a good last 5-10 minutes.
Whitgift School 5, Manchester Grammar School 5. We'll be back with the second half after the break. Welcome back to Twickenham. The sun's out here and we are about to get back underway with the second half of this under-15 RFU Schools Cup final. It's Whitgift School 5, Manchester Grammar School 5. Whitgift far superior in terms of physicality, but Manchester Grammar gutsy in defence, and at 5-all, this is setting up for a fantastic second half, Sam Howard.
Yeah, really looking forward to this second half. Again, there's a clever kick there, moving the big Whitgift pack around, not just kicking it to them and letting them just try and nail it up. Let's keep that's obviously a tactic from the Manchester team and a clever tactic. They've got to try and move the ball. It'd be interesting to see what they do from tap penalties, because obviously you get the penalty, you get the line out, you're guaranteed that. But in the middle of the pitch, you're almost not going anywhere. So it'd be interesting to see if Manchester try and speed the game up, put as much pace in it, quick taps, and move this Whitgift pack around. But they're going to be guaranteed a line out. We've seen some very, very impressive line-out drives.
Don't bring it down, Blue.
Well, that white block line you can see behind them is the 22. And they're just starting to march things here. Piero Noah, speaking of marching, he does plenty of that. Whitgift in the white jerseys. Manchester Grammar in the blue, and that's a hole opening up there for Whitgift's 13. Connor Slevin looks left, looks right, but goes on his own. Eventually it's a tap tackle that brings him down. Oh, and this a very, very ominous start for Whitgift as Adedeji goes into the 22. Owen Finn finds Penanich, the try scorer in the first half. And now that man, Malachi Abara, no mistaking him. Brutal carry from him towards the post, over the line. And Whitgift back in front. Absolutely unstoppable from that distance, Sam Howard.
And here's the massive bloke in the crowd cheering. His dad maybe looked over the moon. But yeah, once he gets that close to the line, you're not going to stop Abara. That actually all came about a really clever backs move from Whitgift then. It looked like they were going to hit Adedeji up, but they used him as a dummy. The 13, Slevin, hit a beautiful line, came through. Once they're close to the line, you are not stopping that big fella from that close to the line. Okay, but a very clever use of their decoy runners there from Whitgift. Got in behind them, and then the power of the big forwards came through. Well worked team try there from Whitgift.
Well, the simplest of conversions from Slevin. It was a clean break from him that started things.
Yeah, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can't, when someone's that big, it is so difficult.
But a mistake from the restart. Manchester Grammar straight up into the 22 as well. They responded well from going 5-0 behind. How will they respond to going 12-5? Here's Ben Simpson. The outside half takes the position at the left-hand side, but that's been turned over. Piero Noah just too strong for those Manchester Grammar forwards, and you wonder whether or not they'll start to feel the fatigue of that lung-busting defence in the first half.
Yeah, and we said it before, you've got to get numbers to that breakdown. Piero Noah, he doesn't just carry, look at his frame, he's over the ball, he's squat. Once he gets over the ball, you're not moving him. Manchester have got to make sure they get support runners to the ball carrier and keep the ball for periods of play.
No, they're on the line. White on the line, blue step off. Sam, just moving for me to give the space. There we go.
But we've said all along, this Manchester team don't give up. They will keep coming. So let's see how they respond in the next few minutes.
They've been in some absolute wars in this competition since defeating Cheadle-Hulme 60-19. They've not won by more than 9 points, and that was a 12-3 victory over Stockport Grammar. So they've got here the hard way. They know what it's like to be in a battle. little bit of space on the left-hand side to attack now. This time they do put boot to ball. It's going to be covered by Jake Murray. The number 9 doing well, but there was no real support for him there. No one chasing on the inside. It was a decent kick.
As you said, you just wonder how much this constant tackling of big ball carriers is taken out of this Manchester side, because the winger did the right thing. He was going to get tackled, he put it in behind, and there was no chasers whatsoever.
Well, there's been no rest for the forwards, really, has there? Oh, Simpson's done well there. Comes back Manchester Grammar's way. 5 minutes of the second half gone. That's well picked up. They're going backwards though. Hayden Johnson puts a little bit of footwork on, tries to get the offload away, and just about does. Ollie Johnson takes them up to around the halfway line. Whiteley.
Release 6.
Whitgift slowing things down. Simpson. Just knocked that one on. 6 minutes into this second half, not really going Manchester Grammar's way. They needed to explode out of the blocks, but that second Whitgift score knocked the stuffing out of them a little bit.
Yeah, I just don't think they've been allowed to explode. I think this Whitgift defence is smothering. With the ball, they're so powerful, but Whitgift are very impressive without it as well. As soon as there's a tackle, they're over. They're either trying to steal the ball or they're using that power just to fire through and smash anything at the breakdown. And then the 10, poor Ben Simpson and the scrum half are just under constant pressure and going back, and it will lead to mistakes.
Here's Whitgift again. Now looking to move the ball, gone to Clerk on the right-hand side.
See, now I would go now. Yeah, pretty intricate, clever backs move there from the scrum, but didn't really go anywhere. Sometimes that often happens. You do a backs move and it's done so far away, it doesn't actually commit any of the defenders, unlike the first one they did, which actually led to the try. It was a superb move, but Manchester read that very well, got someone over the ball and now got the penalty. Can they get their line-out drive going here, which has worked for them, and then maybe suck in these Whitgift defenders and attack space?
With regards to putting that backs move on, Whitgift, the backs didn't really have a great deal to do in that first half, so I think perhaps they might feel
they
under
want to
pressure
join the party
to do something. There's Tom Archer. Have to have an acting scrum half here. Straight into Piero Noah. That's not a habit you want to get into.
No, I don't think that's where you want to be attacking against this Whitgift team. You've got to try and move the ball.
Penalty advantage, 24 offside.
Well, Apara's offside. But again, it's really, they need to be using their advantage, and their advantage is the fact that they're quicker. Quite simply, they're quicker. You move that big pack around, they're going to get tired. At the moment, it's Manchester Grammar that are tired. But I don't care how good the likes of Piero Noah and Malachi Apara are.
Just an extra step there,
if you're moving around big masses, eventually you're going to fatigue. And Manchester Grammar, if they run them around, run them ragged for the next 10 minutes or so, going into the final 10 minutes of this match, that's where the space might appear.
They may prove us wrong, but I think you're totally right. I think they've got to get that moving. The only thing that this line-out drive is working for them. But then, apart from this, then they've got to move the ball. But they've got another penalty now, so again, they've got a free play here. Look, there's a lot of space outside the outside centre.
Campbell has the ball at the back. The MGS
This is a very good drive. Once it's moving, keep it going, that's fine. And then they've got a free shot, so they may as well move the ball now. It's a free play, let it out.
Here's Simpson then. Has he got a little bit of magic? There's space if they can get it there, but the pass is loose. And the referee will bring them back.
Captain, please. Time off.
Referee wants a chat here.
Back 10, guys. Going to be a penalty over
Yeah, the ball didn't go to hand, but it was the right play. They had to go wide. Let's see what the ref says here.
Coming forwards. I've got multiple penalties for entry, so I need your
guys to come through the gate and not to take it down. Isn't that the same? Yes, it is. So that's why it's a warning, same as it was for them in the first.
Jack,
Okay.
14 blue, wing is injured, coming off.
Okay, thank you. Even for the last one?
Amidst all of that, Ollie Johnson for Manchester
Okay.
Grammar's picked up an injury.
We've got a substitution as well. Has it been made?
Yeah, 14 blue.
Okay,
Referee.
guys, you coming off. Time is
Jack
coming
Lewis being very clear with the Whitgift
Yes.
captain there, telling him exactly what he wanted.
Yes, he's
What
coming off
Manchester
now.
Grammar want here is a try.
Substitution
Well, and if they can get that drive going again like they just did, they've got a very good chance of getting one. And as we said, despite everything, if they get a try here, it's only a 12-10. If he gets the conversion, 12-all. They're in this game, and we have constantly said they're good at sticking in games. So if they can get their drive going, which has been very, very good, they've got a good chance here.
Timing White.
Step one complete. The line-out's been taken. 5 metres out. Manchester Grammar get organised. Alex
Yeah,
Campbell,
they're
the
going.
hooker, has it at the back. It's going slightly sideways towards the posts, but more importantly for Manchester Grammar, just about towards the line. Keep your eye on Campbell. Oh, he's held up. Phenomenal strength to hold up the Manchester Grammar hooker. He was actually over the line but forced backwards. MGS go again.
On the line, guys.
Alex Campbell back on his feet to join the party.
No hands, White. On a line.
Here's the try scorer, Joseph Whittle, having another go.
Short.
Can't quite get it over this time. Patience important here for Manchester Grammar. So far, Whitgift defends up to the task. And that's the try scored.
That is very, very impressive play from Manchester. Okay, they've gone for the drive, didn't quite come off, but then they just showed patience and went again and again and again. If they'd gone out wide then, all of the Whitgift backs were on their line, they'd have just flown up and they'd have been smashed out wide. They had to just keep going there, going in there, going there, and eventually, I'm not sure who it is, they get their reward.
That was great, that.
Well, it was a team effort as well. Seb Murphy, the captain, was involved, but it was Alex Campbell in the end. He's the man who's taken the responsibility at the back of that very impressive drive, and that forwards work pays off.
See the difference between us saying they should move the ball around in open play, and there they did the right thing. There they're right on the line, so they can go just 1 yard and 1 yard and 1 yard. If they're doing that further out, the big Whitgift forwards are just going to keep smashing them.
Thank you.
Well, Ben Simpson converts, and we are all square. Incredible, really, that sometimes a forward pack can be more than the sum of their parts, because they've managed to go forward there. They're giving away kilos
Yes, good to go.
in every position, 1 to 8.
It just shows organisation, technique, good coaching, all coming into these line-out drives and scrum play, not just pure size.
17 and a half minutes remaining. Once again, we're all square. Manchester Grammar School. Well, there's a mistake from the restart as well. It's straight out. Manchester Grammar, they've never led in this final, but they've come back from 5-0 and 12-7 down.
So it's on the line.
And again, a very clever, again, whether the decisions come from the players or the coaches, we're not going to take a scrum where they're obviously overpowered. The line out is working well, and they've taken the line out option, which is, you hardly ever see this. But it's the right decision for these boys.
The mark's on the line.
Just a little bit of, let's call it cut final adrenaline on the end of that restart.
Timing good, more. 2, don't change your minds. You good there?
With the counter this time.
1 blue.
Noah watches. Sam Driscoll, who's come on at number 18 for Whitgift as well. This time Manchester Grammar try and put some width on it. There's Hayden Johnson, finds Aluadir. Oh, he's dragged into touch by his jersey.
Easy fellas. Line.
Looked for a second like he was going to get around the outside of Adedeji then, but just got a handful of that shirt.
Mark in.
Yeah, he's defended that well, but it was a nice move. Again, I wouldn't have minded him seeing him put the boot like he did last time, because he had support with him. They'd have all been rushing onto the ball, and it just puts that pressure back on Whitgift in their 22, rather than just getting dragged in. He does well here. If he can put boot on him, he's got his fullback with him. As it is, he just gets dragged into touch. Good defence there from Whitgift. They shepherded them wide and got them into touch, is what you want your players to do.
Amazed by the composure of Adedeji as well. Not intimidated by the speed in the slightest. Just reaches out that hand, thinks, right, I'll use his momentum, I'll use his jersey, and I'll take him out. Pierre Noah once again has ball in hand.
Don't change your mind, disconnect, reconnect, accidental offside, White.
The referee thought I overheard him call for an accidental offside then, but Whitgift still going forward. Jack Sharp opens up a little bit for him, supported by Mari Malcolm.
Down 11.
Owen Finn to Penanech.
Tackle, release, tackle, release.
Jay Murray having a little go himself that time, and Whitgift have marched themselves back up to the 22. Noah inside the 22. Just makes 15 metres with Manchester Grammar defenders hanging off him. Inside the final 15 minutes here. Driscoll. That's Murray, finds Angus Sheehan, gets the offload away to Owen Finn, who steps back inside before being ceremonially dumped on his backside 10 metres from the line under the post. It's narrow from Whitgift, but there are so many bodies there waiting to carry the ball. That's been turned over again by Manchester Grammar, though. They've had some key turnovers inside the 22, but now it's just a case of how they clear it. Now he's isolated, though. Can Whitgift turn this ball back?
Needs to be on the ball, guys.
Somehow it's come back Manchester Grammar's way. It was Joseph Whittle, and the box kick this time gathered by Gon de Klerk, who can attack it at full pace. He's just about scragged by the left winger, Aluadere. Owen Finn. Whitgift recycling the ball well, but there's hardly any width on it. So many committed to that right-hand side of the breakdown. Now it goes wide. There are numbers if they can get it there. Excellent cover tackle when there was a two-man overlap. Connor Slevin furious he didn't get the ball, but now he does for the corner, and Whitgift back in front, 17-12. Well, they got there in the end. Manchester Grammar hanging on inside their 22, but eventually the pressure tells, and it's Whitgift 17, Manchester Grammar 12.
Yeah, really well taken try again. I think here's where maybe it should have gone, but they've recycled the ball. You can see how annoyed Slevin is there, but eventually it comes to him. Bit of footwork, bit of power, and over again. And again, it came from Manchester managed to turn over. They kicked the ball, but they've only got it to about the 22. The fullback de Klerk's countered well, and they've kept the ball. But that whole passage, I think we heard it from up here, the line out straight in front of us. It seemed to be a little bit of obstruction. The touch judge fed it in, but the referee obviously thought that it wasn't enough, and then Whitgift, with this excessive power that they've got, the skill they go out wide, once they've got the ball, they keep it so well.
They made 50 metres off that drive. Slevin looking to convert his own try. Again, that one drops just a little bit short. Seen that a couple of times in these under-15 games. Great lines in the conversions, but not quite the legs.
That's an outstanding cover tackle there. But Whitgift, fair play, they get the numbers there that they need to in support. Lovely pass from the scrum half, and a nice finish.
Slevin, he was up against Fraser Hartley there. Knew he could put a little bit of footwork on the front rower. And after being absolutely furious, the ball didn't get to him first time as Manchester Grammar half make A charge down that Jake Murray just about manages to recover, and now Jack Sharp has another run. He's been very powerful in the second half for Whitgift. Final 11 minutes here. Now Whitgift threatening to cut loose once more. Fowler Adedeji. It's been turned over by Manchester Grammar. God, they're a gutsy side. Managed to find key turnovers at key times as they're driven back on the halfway line. But perhaps a little bit guilty of not playing what's in front of them, because there's acres of space on the left-hand side. It's been swallowed up now as Seb Murphy takes the ball in on the halfway line. If they look up a little bit sooner, I think they might find some gaps appearing.
Yeah, like you can see, this Whitgift side are so narrow in around the ball. Just want Ben Simpson to sort of look up, look for space. But now they've actually managed to get wider the Whitgift defence. Now there's not really anywhere to go. He may have to put boot to ball here.
And MGS keeping it narrow, and Whitgift are going to turn that one over as well. But illegally, says the referee.
You're going to challenge.
Yeah, again, once they get the ball in the middle of the pitch, I'd just like to see Manchester use the ball. Maybe, I don't know, it's tough if they can hit a forward, but then the forward can actually then pass it out the back to Simpson, and then they can play. Both sets of supporters in fine voice, which is great to see. It's a great day out for these guys as well.
Certainly is. I'm not sure about his fashion choices, but he's the chief cheerleader, that's for sure. Manchester Grammar with the put-in at the scrum, just inside their own half. Seb Murphy picks up on the blind side, and that's Hayden Johnson. Get dragged down by Adedeji, an unorthodox tackler, but an effective one nonetheless. Simpson sends George Arnold into the contact zone, bang on the 10-metre line.
See, there he is again. Noah, you've just got, basically you can't go anywhere near him. As soon as there's a tackle, Noah, he must have made 3 or 4 turnovers. And once he gets into that position over the ball, you are not moving him.
As the sun's gone in, the temperature's dropped a little bit here at Twickenham. It's still dry, but not the sunshine that bathed the under-15 Vars, and there's a bit of breeze picking up as well. It's blowing towards the right-hand side of your screen, the try line that Whitgift are attacking in this second half. Less than 10 minutes remaining.
And again, a good position for Whitgift here. They can get their drive going. Use those big forwards, and then out wide, you see they've put Adedeji's moved into the centre, where either he can smash it up, or as we saw earlier, they can use him on the decoy.
And they know as well that if they can play in this Manchester Grammar School half, one of the things they've really struggled with is clearing their own lines. Manchester Grammar, they've been able to work their way up through the pitch via penalties, and they've hung in there defensively.
Yeah, and if they do get the ball, there's so much pace in this Whitgift side as well. They will be able to cover, but here we go.
No crossing. The referee's actually been taken out there by Adedeji.
I think Adedeji took the referee out and 3 players then.
Well, that's one of the biggest collisions of the day as Piero Noah bounces the man off and loses the ball. Well, he's so dangerous. Before play's broken up, as soon as he gets defenders to run out. Well, let's have a look at Jack Lewis here, the referee, getting himself in a bit of a pickle.
Good tackle on the ref.
No arms, yellow card.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Manchester Grammar with the put-in, but inside their own 22. And Seb Murphy picks and goes as the scrum's going backwards. Reece Norman, the Whitgift open side, quick off the break to bring him down. Manchester Grammar, the backs lining up, ready to carry the ball, but Whitgift so quick on the defence. They're losing yards every carry. The referee getting in the way again. He's not had a great minute.
He should laugh, but he's been whacked over, then the ball's been thrown at him.
Well, he's going to have his own highlights reel at the end of this one. No, I'm not sure you call them highlights, but he'll feature nonetheless.
He refs us occasionally on a Saturday. I'm not going to say any more.
Jack Lewis taking control here at Twickenham.
Bind. Set.
Take another look at this. Manchester Grammar trying to clear the lines. Well, it's a no-arms tackle and a knock-on. Terrible technique from the referee, but Hayden Johnson up towards the 22. Gets the ball away to Oluwade.
He's given everything, Hayden Johnson, in attack and defence. Looks dangerous with the ball in hand.
Simpson sends Noah Ellis towards the 22.
See, this is quite good. You can see Simpson, he's telling the forwards to get outside him now. To try, even if he's going to use the forwards, he's going to attack a little bit wider.
Well, he's running out of time here, and there's a big clock counting down. These players will know exactly how long's left in this game, and that's what they need. Little bit of quality, a little bit of initiative, and they're back in between the 22 and the 10. Surely he's been dragged back towards the ruck there, and he has.
Yeah, that's much better from Manchester. Even if they are going to use their forwards, get outside Simpson. You can see Simpson there screaming at them to get outside him. They're not just going to run at these big Whitgift forwards, going to actually move them around. Much better to see, and that's what they've got to do in these last 5 minutes if they want to get a try to draw, if not win this game. They've got to play with a little bit of width and a little bit of pace.
Substitutions coming on. We've got Will Richardson wearing 21 and Isaac Ogunyemi wearing 22.
Guys, when it restarts, you're going to be on the line. They're on the line.
You're good to go.
Ollie Johnson
Give yourself room.
going to have a little bit of a breather.
Time back on.
5 minutes remaining. Manchester Grammar going with the drive once again. Seb Driscoll adds his weight at the back of it for Whitgift, but Manchester Grammar come forward. What a real great supporters contingent down from the north. It's not as quick this time for Manchester Grammar, but it's going forward nonetheless. I think they'll have to use it next time. Scrum half waits and finds Ben Simpson. Tries to put Hayden Johnson through a gap that didn't really exist. There was a forearm up around his throat there, but the referee with a better view of it than we had. There's Seb Murphy pumping the legs and getting over the gain line. But it's slow and it's giving Whitgift time to reset the defence.
Now they've got to move it wide again. Don't attack those big forwards. Oh, and they've been turned over.
Well, Whitgift finding a way to stay in front. Patient defence from them, but they were given time to reset, and they've got hands on the ball. Jake Murray finds Bibb, scorer of that opening try. And a chip into space. It's the replacement fullback, Richardson. Gets the offload away incredibly well. Both feet off the floor. There's Hayden Johnson. He's been moved into a position where he can take advantage of getting the ball a little bit flatter for these final 3 minutes or so. Murphy. Oh, smashed back by Piero Noah. Simpson waits at second receiver but doesn't get the ball. This time he does. He's got Johnson outside him. Pirouette from Johnson. No, smashed back by Slevin. Oh, wowee. Whitgift just turning up the temperature in defence. Manchester Grammar not really giving themselves a lot of options, having to run it out through the likes of Noah Ellis. 2 minutes left on the countdown clock. Murphy carries again, that's been spilled forward by Whitgift. Into the final 2 minutes, Manchester Grammar needing a converted try to win this game. An unconverted try won't be enough.
That man again, that man Noah over the ball, supported with Bibb as well. It's unbelievable sort of work rate and will to go forward from the Manchester, but some of those forwards have just got to recognise that maybe they need to put a set of hands on the ball rather than just running straight into these Whitgift guys as hard as they can, because they've defended the last 5 minutes, as you say. Whitgift really cranked up the screw in defence, and going forward and smashing Manchester back again and again. Somehow Manchester have got to try and get their hands on the ball in this last minute, but it's going to be difficult when Whitgift get this line-out drive going.
Well, it's going to be a very difficult decision in what has been a fascinating final here, but at some point in the next probably 30 seconds, you're going to have to choose a man of the match here, Sam Howard. Piero Noah with the line-out. We know exactly where this is going. Into the Manchester Grammar 22. Whitgift never trailed in this final. Piero Noah with the ball at the back. It's being taken towards the touchline by Manchester Grammar. Noah goes and breaks the gain line once again. Here's Reece Norman. Bags of space on the left-hand side for Whitgift, and another try here would break Manchester Grammar hearts. They've given a great account of themselves here. Oh, and that's a fantastic tackle by Joseph Whittle. He was the try scorer in the first half that dragged them back into it. And with the clock and the scoreboard against them, he's temporarily kept them alive. Piero Noah for the line, has a second go at it. Gets the try to add to the ones he scored in the semi-final. He is a gargantuan ball carrier, and he has buried Manchester Grammar here. It's Whitgift 22, Manchester Grammar 12.
And that try scorer is also the man of the match. He's been outstanding carrying the ball, as we've just seen there. In defence, he's smashed people, and he's made about 4 or 5 turnovers. But good, 1, 2, 3, 4. His legs are going, and then he's got the wherewithal to know that once he's actually tackled, he can have one more reach and he gets the score. He's been outstanding today, real leader for this team. He is the man of the match today.
Well, I think this might be the final kick of the game. The thing with someone like him, it's obvious to point the finger at the physical advantages he has at under-15s, but he's got a great engine, great game awareness, and certainly one to keep an eye on. Man of the match in the semi-finals, man of the match in the final, and the under-15 cup to go with it. Piero Noah celebrates with his teammates. Full-time here, Whitgift 22, Manchester Grammar 12. And take nothing away from Manchester Grammar. They are a gutsy, talented side.
Yeah, very much so. They got a lot of good players. They never gave up against a massive Whitgift team, but they're not just massive. Obviously, they are very, very big, but they've got talented players as well. Owen Finn ran the show well as a fly half, did nothing flashy, but just made the right decisions, when to move the ball wide, when to smash it up. He just controlled the game in a very unflashy way. Slevin captained the side very well, and as I said, their forwards just absolutely dominated the game, really, apart from the Manchester line-out drive that was very good. Apart from that Whitgift pack just absolutely dominated the game, really.
Well, one of the things you mentioned there was decision-making, and from a coach's perspective, when you're coaching teenagers as they're coming through and a couple of years away from the senior game, I think good decision-making is something that you can be most pleased with as a coach of any of these teams.
Very much so, and that's what good rugby playing is about. It's all about decision-making throughout the game, and both teams did very well. There's the first try. Bibb, again, power. Look how pumped up he is, and you weren't going to stop him from a couple of yards. He's got 3 people on. Good footwork to come back against the grain, and he wasn't going to be denied there, was he?
He almost suckered the Manchester Grammar defence in there. They did well in the beginning to go and meet the big ball carriers, but he showed that he was light on his feet. This was the first Manchester Grammar try. Joseph Whittle taking advantage of some good work from the rest of his forward pack leading up to that.
Their forward pack did really well close to the line, the Manchester, and here you go again. There's not much you can do when someone's that big, that powerful, that aggressive with it as well. You're not stopping that. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue shirts around it. He just keeps pumping those legs. Great determination, and over he goes. But again, back came Manchester. Again, a good forward drive. Just patient again. They kept the ball, they looked after it. And then Alex Campbell again goes back against the grain, over he goes, game on. As we said, Manfleet just kept going.
Well, that levelled things up and it was converted as well, so 12-all. However, even when they were conceding tries, Manchester Grammar just huffing and puffing and trying to get something into it. Whitgift always looked like they were slightly more in control of this game.
Well, in terms of possession and territory, they must have had the majority of it. This came, like we see the last couple of phases here, and Slevin scores a really well-worked try, but that had come after about a 40 or 50 metre yard line-out drive, then a really good backs move, then they kept the ball for 4 or 5 phases. That was a really well-worked team try in which the coaches would have been very pleased. And then that again is the power play from Piero Noah, who'd been outstanding all game. He was like, I want to get my name on the score sheet, you're not stopping me.
Well, he scored in stoppage time in the semi-final as well. Shows the engine on the boy. Manchester Grammar, similar to Kenilworth in the match before, it's their first appearance in a major championship final. And in time, they might look back at this as a great season, but at the moment, that's going to hurt.
Yep, it will. Of course it does. They've lost in a final. They've worked extremely hard all year. The last couple of weeks, that have worked so hard for this. But again, they can be proud of their performance. There's nothing out there that you go, oh, we could have maybe done this, we could have done. They gave it their all. They threw everything out. They have come up against a very powerful, well-organised, well-coached and talented team who on the day were the better team and deserved to win. Sometimes you just have to hold your hand up and go, well done, you were better than us today. And that Whitgift team were, but as I said, everyone involved with Manchester Grammar School can be very proud of the performance of their players today.
Well, Whitgift under-15 champions in 2003 and 1999. And they've won the under-18s in 2010 and 2011. I mean, you put a stop to that in 2012, but is this a generation of players now who've got this under-15 cup under their belt and they will look in a few years' time to launch an assault on that under-18s competition once again?
They're always thereabouts. Always thereabouts. It's one of the big boys' school in South East London. It's massive, so it's always got a good talent pool. Every year they're thereabouts in quarterfinals, semi-finals. So it's not as if this is a sort of a resurgence. There always, whenever you play Whitgift, you know that you're in for an absolute tough game, and so they will be very pleased to have finally got some more silverware back to the school, which they probably think they thought they may have had a few more over the past few years. So yeah, they're going to be strong for the next 3 years at under-15s and at under-18 level, no doubt about that.
Well, the under-18s lost out to their old rivals Warwick, who go later against Queggs Wakefield in the under-18s cup final. But right now, it is all about those players. Whitgift, the under-15 cup champions. 4 tries here at Twickenham. Dominance throughout the competition. Victories against Hampton, St Joseph's College, Hurstpierpoint College, Trinity, Howard of Effingham, Epsom College and Caterham. And once again, they lift silverware here at Twickenham. Whitgift School are the under-15s cup champions.
Hey Graham, one of the highlights of the day when the boys get to do, they pass the cup along and they all do it. It's just fantastic. It's great to see. It's what it's all about. The crowd and the parents all going crazy.
Magical moments for a very special school. Whitgift have done it once again. They are the under-15s champions. 2 more matches to come today. Next up, it is the under-18 Vars, World Grammar School versus Langley.